I saw a meme the other day and it said that women reach full emotional maturity at the age of 32 and men at the age of 43. And I know it's a load of bollocks, and I've always had a theory about emotional maturity. I don't think there's such a thing. There is such thing as emotional intelligence, but when it comes to emotional maturity, I don't think our emotions ever grow up. Now don't get me wrong, this is just a theory of mine. I'm no psychologist, psychoanalyst or psychotherapist, although I have done psychedelics in the past. Anyway, one of the reasons why I don't think our emotions mature is because of my granny Beryl. She had a best friend called Margaret. They'd been friends since primary school and they were always together. They'd always be around each other's houses. They'd go shopping together and they had the same seats every week in the social club. And then one Sunday afternoon, Margaret called in to see my gran just after dinner and before songs of praise. They were sitting in the garden gossiping about other people and slagging their friends off as usual. And Margaret pointed at the clothesline and said, "I've got something that'll get our stain out for you, Beryl." She was referring to a pink floral apron that was hanging on the washing line, blowing in the breeze. My gran pretended she didn't hear Margaret and carried on gossiping about other people. Shortly after that, she told Margaret that she needed to do some chores around the house, so Margaret went home. And that was the last time that my gran ever spoke to Margaret. And it wasn't because Margaret died, it was because of what Margaret said. Apparently, Margaret had insulted her by pointing out the stain on the pink floral apron that was hanging on the washing line, blowing in the breeze. In my gran's words, she said, "Who the bloody hell does she think she is, telling me that I don't know how to get a stain out my pink floral apron, the cheeky cow." So then she changed her whole routine to make sure that she never bumped into Margaret again. She even went to a different social club and went shopping on different days. And we weren't allowed to speak about Margaret in front of my gran ever again. As far as she was concerned, Margaret was dead. And she told us if we see Margaret out and about, that we weren't allowed to speak to her either. And that's one of the reasons why I think emotionally we're all immature and our emotions never grow up. Take me for example. I'm 53 years old, and when I have an argument with my wife, I sulk like a 10-year-old child, and I pout as well. And I've also witnessed some childish behaviour with my friends in relationships as well. Some of the stuff they say and do is definitely not emotionally mature. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that when it comes to relationships, that's when we can really show how emotionally immature we can be. And I don't just mean sexual relationships, I mean any type of relationships. Friends, family, work colleagues. Look at my gran for instance. Anyway, that's my theory about emotional maturity. And now I'm going home to throw all my toys out of the pram.